Welcome back to Nifty Garage. Today we're going to be doing a CSC on a 350Z. Alright, first thing we're going to do today is start by removing all the undercovers, just so we can get to all the rest of the bolts on the car. Next, you want to go ahead and start removing the little brackets and braces from under the car, just so you have better access to all the other bolts on the transmission. Most of the bolts on this front brace right here are 14s, and then the two holding up the caster arms are going to be 19s. Next, we're going to go ahead and start taking off the O2 sensor connectors and moving the harness out of the way. I like to tuck them kind of out of the way just so the cords don't get pinched or anything when you're dropping or taking the transmission out. Go ahead and remove the connector for the steering rack. Tuck that just out of the way, and then go ahead and fully remove the wiring harness. And then we're going to go ahead and put all the wiring harness and everything, kind of tuck it out of the way under the cat, just so it doesn't get pinched or hung up on the transmission when we're putting it in or taking it back out. First, we're going to take out this Y pipe right here. 2 14s on each of the cats, and then 2 14s right in the middle of the Y pipe where it connects to the rest of the exhaust. So now that we have all the bolts out for the Y pipe, we're going to go ahead and take it off. I like to push it from right here where it's actually flexible in it. Kind of get it off, and then do the same on this one. And then you'll be able to just pull it forward, and the Y pipe will come right out. The nice thing about the 350Zs is you only have to drop the Y pipe to get the drive shaft out. You don't have to drop the entire exhaust on the car, and as well as the transmission. It'll drop right out with just the Y pipe coming out. For the bracket right under the drive shaft, it's going to be 2 12s holding it in. We'll go ahead and remove that. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove the drive shaft. First, you want to make sure the e-brake is off, as well as the transmission's not in gear. It's 2 17s, a 17 nut on the back, 17 bolt on the front. We'll go ahead and get the first one off. And then once all 4 of the drive shaft bolts are out, it's as easy as just pushing the drive shaft forward a little bit and dropping it down. And go ahead and just pull it out. And then you can just set it out right off to the side. And then we're going to go ahead and put a plug in. You might not have a plug at home, so you can use a glove or anything like that to keep it from leaking out. So a little bit might leak out even if you have already drained the transmission. First thing you want to do once you get the drive shaft out and the Y pipe is disconnect this 12 so you can go up top and disconnect the shifter. So we'll go ahead and remove this. And then once I have the bolt out, I do like to just put it right back in the transmission just to hold it there for us. Go ahead and remove the shift knob, the actual shift boot and cover. Just kind of set it off to the side. And then to get the actual shifter out, it's just a few 10s holding the boot on. And usually whenever you're removing the actual boot and plate, this plug right here will be sitting right on top of this 10 mil. So what you want to do is kind of just move it out to the side a little bit, and then you'll be able to access that last 10 mil. You could go ahead and remove the first cover. Just lift it up, and it should come right out. Pull it up, and then one last boot. Lift that all the way up and out of the way. And then you'll have 3 10s that are holding on the last plate for the shifter. Want to go ahead and remove those. And then once you remove the last one, it is spring loaded, so just make sure it doesn't pop up. So next you're going to want to go ahead and take off the clutch line. Usually you'll disconnect it from right here, but this one is starting to strip out a little bit. So you can always disconnect it from the other side of the line right here and just move this 10 mil and the whole line will come right off the transmission. See, so this one was nice and loose. So you want to go ahead and remove this 10 mil on the side of the transmission that's actually holding the line. And you want to go ahead and remove this clip right here that is actually holding the line to the transmission. So once that's out, it is completely free. Go ahead and back it out and put the line inside the bottle just so it's not dripping everywhere on the floor or just anywhere else. And then once you have your clutch line off, the next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove the 214s for the starter here. So we'll go ahead and remove those. Get that one out. And the top one. And then the starter, all you're going to do is just kind of lift it a little bit and just push it back just a tad so it is out of the way. It doesn't really have to move too much, just so it's not directly touching the transmission anymore. Then like I was talking about before, getting those 4 14s that are on the other side of the transmission. Go ahead and break those loose. And usually once you get them out, they are just finger tight. Once you break them loose, you could just get them all 4 out. And then if you are doing the clutch job on the ground, the main thing you're going to want to do is put a jack under the transmission so you can go ahead and remove the 4 bolts holding the transmission up. Once those 4 14s are out, you could go ahead and lower the jack just a little bit so it does sag down just a tad bit, just like that, and then lift it back a little bit up. And then with the transmission hanging down a little bit like this, you have much easier access to the actual connectors on the back of the transmission. There's 2 of them. So we'll go ahead and get that one off. And then the next one is right here. Pull those off. And then there is little brackets holding the wires. They're all just little 10 mils, as you can see right here. So we'll get that 10 mil off. And then there is 2 more 10 mils on the side of the transmission holding up the harness right next to it. So we'll go ahead and get those off as well. There's 1 there, and then there's 2 more right up here. And then the last 2 10 mils are right here. And then once you do have all the 10 mils out and the harness is completely free, I do like to just tuck it right around the cap, just so you don't crush the wiring harness with the transmission when you're taking it out or putting it back in. The next thing you want to do is remove the 8 17s that are on the transmission. You can see there's 2 on this side, 2 just on the exact spot on the other side, 2 on the very top, and then 1 in the middle of each of them. So now we'll go ahead and get all those 17s out. Move to the other side. All right, go ahead and grab all those 17s. So once you have all the bolts out from the bell housing on the transmission, you want to kind of lift up the transmission just a little bit so it's not at an angle. And you should be able to just wiggle it a little bit and slide it right on backwards. And so once it's out, clearing the input shaft from the clutch, you kind of start going down, back it up a little bit more, and go ahead and what a noise. So now that you have an actual solid visual on the CSC itself, you'll want to go ahead and remove the clip that's holding the line in. Pull that up. And then we will go ahead and remove the 2 10s holding the actual CSC in place. 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Get those, set the bolt aside. And you'll be able to pull the pipe out of the CSC. And then this is what your old CSC is going to look like. Look like it's a little blown out. Yeah, see if when you spin it, you could hear it. Actually spinning the CSC, let's see if you could hear it. And then if you were to spin the brand new one, oh, it actually doesn't even spin that freely. So once you have your old CSC out, the first thing you want to go ahead and do is pop up that clip on the new one. Make sure it's just up. You'll go ahead and slide it on in, grab the pipe, push it in there. You could go ahead and push the clip down. Grab your 210s. Make sure you thread them in there first by hand, both sides. Then you'll be able to go ahead and tighten them down. And just like that, you have a brand new CSC in your transmission. When you're putting the transmission back in, most of the time, if you feel like the transmission has that little bit of space where it's not going in, you have to check the dowels. There's 2 dowels actually sitting on the motor. You could see the holes right here for the transmission. If they're not perfectly lined up, the transmission will not go in. So make sure the transmission is rotated right and the dowels are perfectly lined up, and it should just slide right in. Oh, perfect. She closed, huh? Yeah. Sick. Yeah, so when you're putting the transmission in, it's a lot of just wiggling and jiggling. And a big tip is to rotate the crank. Get a 19 socket and a ratchet, kind of spin the crank a little bit. Try and get the splines on the input shaft of the transmission to line up with the splines on the clutch, and it makes it a lot easier to go in. There's these 414s that come in from the front of the motor here, and then there's the 817s that come in from the back of the transmission on the other side. One other thing is make sure you always put this little bracket back in before you put the starter bolts back in, because it is what holds the starter wire. So now we're going to go ahead and put the 4 bolts in that actually hold the transmission mount up. One thing I will recommend is starting them by hand. These bolts cross-thread really easily. Don't gun them in right away. Just kind of start them like 2 or 3 threads in and then gun them in. All right, harness is all plugged back in. Normally we would have the cats here and you'd be able to plug in the O2 sensors, but our cats are out right now. We're getting some replacement ones. And then next we'll go ahead and reconnect the clutch line. So with the clutch line is another thing. I would really recommend not using a wrench on it right away, kind of wiggling it, making sure you can thread it most of the way by hand, because these will cross-thread extremely easy as well.
Yeah, they're like 200 bucks.
Oh, that's not honestly as bad as I was expecting. Once you have your clutch line in, it's a good opportunity to go ahead and put your shifter back in. So you still have access to the bolt before we put the drive shaft in or the exhaust on. All right, so for the shifter, first thing you want to do is re-put in that spring. You want to make sure you can see there's a little notch on the shifter, and there's also a notch on the transmission. So you want to go ahead and put that in, line that up. You can see it'll slide right in. Then you want to go ahead and grab the shifter plate. There's also a notch and an arrow on the shifter plate itself. You want to make sure that it is going to the right. And then the shifter screws, they are like alignment type screws, so you'll go ahead and put them in. I wouldn't fully tighten them down for now. And then before you do put everything else back on the car, you do have to put the actual shifter linkage back on the shifter. So we'll go back under the car, get that done, and then we'll come back up. We'll get that in, and then whenever you're tightening down that 12, make sure you don't over tighten it, just kind of snug it, or else whenever you do go to shift, it'll feel really tight to go into gears. So you just want it to be nice and snug, not crazy tightened. So we'll just stop right there once it's nice and snug. And then we could go back in the car and we will line up the actual shifter itself. So when you're actually adjusting the shifter, this plate will have some play in it. So what that play is for is setting up your reverse lockout. So what you're gonna wanna do is put it in first, second, third, fourth, and then I like to put it in 5th gear right there. Keep the plate as tight as you can over into it. And then you're gonna go ahead and actually tighten down the bolts now. So we'll go ahead and tighten down all the bolts. And then make sure we'll go back first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Make sure it goes in smoothly and it's nice and lined up on the plate. Same with 6th. and then you'll go up, push it down into reverse, and make sure your reverse lockout stays and it's not falling out of reverse. Once that's done, now we can go back through and start to put in all the shifter boots. And the last shifter boot up, grab the metal plate. Then we'll go ahead and put the 10 mils back in. Then we'll go ahead and reinstall the shifter bezel, throw it into third, actually fourth. Make sure it's nice and clipped in there. Put a nice push down, make sure everything's snug. Then we can reinstall the shift knob. And I do like to make sure that it goes into every gear: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And like I said, make sure that reverse lockout, it stays in there and doesn't pop out of reverse. Next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and put the drive shaft back in. Then you would reinstall the exhaust. We're still waiting on our cats to put the exhaust back in, so we'll do that a little bit later. Oops. Sick. Perfect. Now we're gonna go up and bleed. Now we're gonna be bleeding the clutch. Typically you want two people, one to sit inside the car and press the pedal down, another to open up the bleeder valve right here. They're gonna push the pedal all the way to the floor, and then I'll close the bleeder valve, and then they'll continue to pump. Open. There we go, a little bit of fluid came out. Hold on, let me close it. Okay, closed. Open. There you go. Closed. Open. So when you're bleeding the clutch, you're looking for actual air bubbles to come out. So we'll open it again. Open. All right, close, pump it. Open. There we go. All right, hold on. Close, can you pump? While you're bleeding, definitely make sure to check the reservoir, because if it does run out of fluid, you'll kind of have to completely restart again. So I'm gonna go ahead and check it, make sure the fluid level is good. So it is low, so we're gonna go ahead and top it off. Now that it's topped off, we can continue to bleed. Once the person inside the car feels the pedal is coming back up all by itself, not having to assist it, and you also see the stream of brake fluid coming out of the lines, has no air bubbles in it, the pedal should be good, and the clutch should be fully bled. Last step, we're gonna go ahead and put this brace back on. We left it for last because when you are bleeding, the clutch fluid will actually hit this bracket and make a mess. So we will put it on last. With everything installed and your clutch bled properly, that's how you do a CSC on an HR 350Z. If you have any other video ideas, you can leave a comment down below.